Supposed on-screen lovers who are now well and truly off-screen haters, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
100 Most Influential People of 2025, a title that means more than just fame. It represents a mission, a purpose.
Against him, and considering his mission statement about the film and him genuinely pitching that he was doing this film to help young women, I just find it hard to believe the allegations, to be honest.
And a voice that goes beyond the red carpet. And all of this comes at a time when Blake is also facing a very public and intense legal battle with her It Ends With Us co-star and director, Justin Baldoni.
Proclivity towards talking about how he wanted to consult with God on certain creative decisions. One of the weirdest parts of this whole thing was that Blake, she claimed that Justin told her that he had been communicating with her dead father.
But even in the midst of legal headlines and speculation, she's choosing to focus on what matters, using her platform for change. On Wednesday, April 16th, Blake took to Instagram to reflect on this honor. Her words were heartfelt and powerful, giving thanks to civil rights attorney Sherilyn Ifill, who wrote her Time profile.
You're watching leaked footage from what's become the most controversial Hollywood film in years. But from these outtakes, you wouldn't know it. The chemistry between these two performers doesn't seem like an act.
And my nose is so big.
I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late.
Blake wrote, "It's an honor to be acknowledged on the Time 100 list, but to be written about by Sherilyn Ifill, that's a moment I'll never forget. She's not just a brilliant lawyer. She's a mother, a fighter, a leader, a healer. She's shaped the direction of our country. And more than that, she's shaped my heart."
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni crack jokes and chat back and forth between takes of a romantic scene on the set of hit film It Ends With Us.
I'm not getting beard on you today.
Blake went on to say that her 10-year-old self would be absolutely blown away by this moment. That little girl with big dreams is now being recognized on a global stage for more than just acting, for her activism, her generosity, and her voice.
Personalities, or is there more to it than that?
Well, I think in film, everybody's always vying for power and control. I think that this is probably the most intense situation I've ever been in film.
How many women has this worked on?
All of them?
If ever a film was going to be a runaway success, It Ends With Us was it.
Baby, all I want to do in my life is protect you. You know that, right?
Sherilyn Ifill, the former president and director counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, had powerful things to say about Blake. She admitted she never watched Gossip Girl, and she doesn't know the red carpet Blake that most of the world sees.
You have me. You have all of me.
I know.
So if I'm not what you want, you just...
No, I'm fine.
Lively's takeover of the film included re-editing.
This is I brought the movie with me on the airplane. Like I have like a folder, like a disc, like a hard drive.
Instead, she said, "The Blake Lively I know is a philanthropist and a serious person. Someone who reached out not for attention, but to learn. She asked questions. She did her homework. She wanted to understand the structures and history that shaped this country."
I mean, how many celebrities have been buried in Hollywood?
You know, you're absolutely right. It is a terrible thing to say to any industry that you're in. Any good publicist will be sitting there and try to be meticulous to really find the ways of how your client will be exonerated or how your client is going to move forward. The number one thing when you get into trouble or when you are faced with a crisis, if you did it or anything remotely to it, the biggest thing you can do and the most accepting thing in the court of public opinion is to own up to it.
Sherilyn recalled a conversation where Blake expressed frustration that so much of American history, the real, raw, uncomfortable parts, were left out of the education she received. But she wasn't just upset. She was motivated to fill those gaps and educate herself, to become the kind of citizen her children and others could look up to.
Tens of thousands of accounts set up, and being able to communicate and engage with humans in a way that you can't really tell that they're bots. So if you're on your timeline and you're seeing negative things pumped out about Blake Lively, for example, about her not caring about domestic violence victims or something along that line, you're like, oh my gosh, she's a terrible person. And you may decide, you know what, I'm going to give her a piece of my mind. Now, that's the whole goal of this, is to start off with something that's artificial and hopefully it grows to be organic. And when that happens, it's a powder cake. I will compare it to terrorism. You're being terrorized.
Blake is currently involved in a legal dispute with Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director from the upcoming film It Ends With Us. Reports suggest that there were significant disagreements during the production process. Both Blake and Justin have filed lawsuits against each other, and other individuals connected to the project have also been named in the filings.
I think in film, we always want our work to have a meaningful impact. And a lot of us in film do it because we care. And to see it be overtaken by this was definitely a little bit sad.
This is a saga that's not ending anytime soon. It's not going away. What would you want to see happen right now?
It'd be nice if everybody could put their swords down, you know, and acknowledge their part in it and get along, but we don't really live in that world, right? It's a little too late for that. So I hope that the truth comes out, you know. I hope that the innocent parties are proven as innocent and we move on.
Still, even amid the controversy, Blake hasn't lost her focus. Her commitment to advocacy hasn't wavered. Whether it's fighting against voter suppression, supporting immigrant rights, or backing organizations like the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Blake continues to show up for the causes she believes in, not just through words, but through real, tangible action.
It was outside the norms happening on the set of that film.
The only place that I can go as a Baha'i are to the writings of the Baha'i faith.
Only in
Because I
Hollywood
believe-
could you find an outlandish plot like this. Baldoni is a devoted member of a religion most people have never heard of.
In our case, Baha'u'llah, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, they knew, and they know where we're going.
She's not just speaking out, she's listening, learning, and evolving. The Blake Lively of today isn't just a Hollywood actress. She's a mother, a student of justice, and a woman who's refusing to stay silent in a world that desperately needs more voices of change. And maybe that's what influence really means. Not how many followers you have, or how many magazine covers you've been on, but what you do when no one's watching, what you stand for when the spotlight fades, the quiet phone calls, the thoughtful donations, the conversations that make you uncomfortable. Those are the moments that define true impact.
You noticed.
There was a lot of prayer. There was a lot of hugging. Justin has a proclivity towards talking about how he wanted to consult with God on certain creative decisions. One of the weirdest parts of this whole thing was that Blake, she claimed that Justin told her that he had been communicating with her dead father.
So, while the court case will likely continue making headlines for months to come, so will Blake's work. Because the people who make history are the ones who keep going, even when it's hard, even when no one claps, even when everything is on the line. And right now, Blake Lively is doing just that.
Who had passed away several years ago, which is so strange. And I think in this day and age, when Hollywood sets have become much more strict about what you can say and do and get away with, certain people found his behavior and some of the things that he was saying and some of the producers were saying highly objectionable.